and you're doing it here and now, and this is the only place we can do anything like that. So thank you for being that. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for choosing that.
Thank you.
I don't know how to come.
I received that. I'm trying to like doing something, but also like. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to an episode of Breaking the Cycles. I am your host, Tasiyah, joined with me with the co-host, Laziena, my mom, my mother. And returning is Cari. Hi, my love.
Hello,
And
darling.
joining us today is Dave. Hi. It's nice to meet you.
Great to meet you.
I feel the third, fourth wheel, I guess. Not third wheel, fourth wheel, because I haven't met him.
Oh, that's right. I met him on Saturday.
Met you. Sorry, not to put the, but yeah.
Oh, good. I got it.
He was so confused. I saw the offense on his face. Yes, to see you, Dave. We have heard all about you because Cari speaks so highly of you. And I'm glad that I got to not only meet you for Optimize, but I get to meet you for Breaking the Cycle with my girl, because I feel like there's a lot that you guys have in common. And unfortunately, but fortunately. Yeah.
So I'm kind of gonna segue this video a little differently than I usually do. But I kind of wanted to do, I guess, a check-in with myself. December is usually a really hard month of the year for me. Usually it's December and my birthday, which is in February. Because those are two pivotal points in my life. Holidays is always very difficult because my family, even though we were all chaotic, holidays seemed the days where we could pull each other together, and it was very loving, but it was a lot of secrecy and back and forth, and my father using me a lot, and it was very confusing. So me dealing with holiday time is always conflicting. A lot of my shames come up, a lot of my sadness comes up, and a lot of my fears come up too. It's been a healing, eye-opening, but also painful sad that I've been feeling for a little bit. And I think sometimes I hide my sadness where I am so much in a caretaker mode that I take care of everyone around me and I make sure I get things done and I'm always busy, that sometimes I still forget to feel my sadness and to feel like, yeah, that what happened to me when I was a teenager was really messed up. And the teenage me really misses my dad. And now having the realization that I won't have a relationship with my dad and being okay with that, still hurts, but I'm going to be okay. And, I just kind of have to still process it and feel it out. I don't really know where I was going with it, but I kind of wanted to just say it because I don't usually say it. I usually kind of backpedal it and hide it.
Can I jump in here for a second? Tasiyah, you know I love you. I adore you. And I am so proud of you. I have been since the first time I met you. And I want to acknowledge you because who you are being right now is so different than the version of you that I've ever seen before, which has been that letting you be seen, but just barely. Just barely. And right now, you are absolutely glowing. Because you are letting yourself be vulnerable. You're letting yourself be you. This is, having been there, this is such an important part. And this is such a huge step for you. And I'm excited for you because I know that I thought that the next steps would be wonderful and joyous and I would be happy and they would be powerful. And a lot of times they looked exactly like what you are going through right now.
Thank you.
Thank you for who you be for so many. Because you are such an amazing example of one who is so young and willing to face what so many of us can't face until we're decades older than you are. You are strong and you are powerful and brave.
He said it before we came onto the episode. Once I knew I saw your name, I was like, this was the cry I needed to have for a little while. I don't know what my
So to give a little context, Steve, I think that you will relate a little bit to her. I was, I tend to take a lot of accountability for it without shame. When it's time to tell it, it feels difficult not to share um, the accountability on my part. But I was married twice. See, it was from my first marriage, and then I got into marriage a second time. And I have twins with him, so we're family for uh 12 years, and I was out of integrity in the marriage for a bit. But during that time, Tasiyah ended up becoming the emotional dependent person on him for him. And there was some sexual abuse that took place when she was 17. Um, he ended up going to prison and he got out a couple months ago. While he was in prison, the kids, the younger ones, they said, they wanted to have a relationship with him. And I reached out to see what it was like, is there remorse, regret, and things like that. And while I went to visit him, the kids went to visit him, and there seemed to be, and I don't doubt that there is. But what's happened now is that to see his done, I witnessed her do so much healing that she understands where that wound came from, why he did what he did, and she's done the forgiveness and everything, and she desires to have at least a conversation, and that's not possible for many reasons, but um, there doesn't seem to be it almost like it's like witnessing her becoming invisible, like she wasn't his child for um 10 of those years. I think it's a little harder for her to move on, especially now that the her siblings are in relationship with him, to be able to be like, I can't. It's been weighing heavily on her. So that's kind of what's been showing up lately.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's firstly, if I may, just acknowledge you, Laziena, for facing that. See, um, the situation my situation that I shared with Carrie when we first talked was my father-in-law had abused all of his daughters. I found out later, but I was only aware of my wife to be. She's like, you should know something before we get married, which is that this has happened. And she had already forgiven him. Like it was done with her. And it took me 15 years to forgive that SOB. And I did. I got to the point where I could love him and have compassion for him. Um, but I did notice that my mother-in-law's unwillingness to take any sort of responsibility or even acknowledge that this happened under her nose for 20 plus years. That was hard for me for a long time. So Laziena, to take accountability for that is remarkable, and it's not easy. And I just want to make sure that you know that I see you and I see the depth that you had to go to be able to own your part in this. And the fact of the matter is that it was more of a situation. It's like, I don't know if you guys know the statistics. Step parents abusing step children is not one, not two, not three, but 400% more likely, 4 times more likely to occur than in any other family relationship. And I don't know why we humans seem to have problems with this because, we've all seen Cinderella. What the heck? Guys, what's going on here? Why do we treat each other like crap? I don't know.
Yeah.
But thank you for taking accountability. And at the same time, it's not your fault. It's not Tasiyah's fault. It's not my fault. It's not Carrie's fault. And so thank you for having the courage to share that. I mean, that is big.
I am receiving it because for so long I've kind of just dismissed it. But thank you. I feel I feel acknowledged.
Thank you. I'm glad I am an acknowledger. I try as that. Well, but also, it's like what I shared before, like I was super vigilant against my father-in-law, like to
Mhm.
make sure he didn't touch my daughters ever.
Yeah.
And it wasn't him that touched my daughters.
Oh,
It was other people, that I didn't expect. And, so I think there's a certain thing about even being vigilant against something, kind of like the way Oprah used to say it is what you focus on gets bigger.
yeah. She's
So
not
I
wrong.
focused on that so hard that, well, it showed up in my life just in other ways.
Yeah.
And then so I have my own levels of, shame, remorse, guilt to deal with about having let that happen at all ever.
Yeah.
And I've talked to my daughters about it multiple times, and it seems like I'm sorry is just so not enough, but what else do you have? That's
Yeah.
that's on one side. The other side of this picture occurs to me like we sign up for certain levels of stuff before we come here, Cari, can I share a little bit from our conversation? So when Cari discovered that her mind had blocked this thing that had happened for years and years and years, and it came on, it was like overwhelming, right? And the great big question that she asked was why? Why did this happen to me? Why would God allow this to happen? There is no satisfactory answer to that question from the perspective that we have here. And it occurs to me like things like that are allowed to happen to help us as humans discover how we will react, what choices we will make, how will we learn to forgive ourselves and others, or will we, be bitter? And one of the things that I said to Cari she's doing it now, is it occurs to me, Cari, like one of the reasons that you went through this, that you signed up for this at whatever level, definitely not consciously, but whatever level that was before you showed up here, was so that you could be a voice for those who have not yet dealt with it, who have not yet healed from it, or who have not yet discovered a path to healing and being at peace with it. It's not who I am. It's not even who I was. It's what happened. And this is who I am, who I choose to be. And I am well, I am okay. And all of the, they say 1 in 4 women, baloney. All of the women that have ever experienced, and many men who've experienced unwanted sexual experience have a possibility and an opportunity to be at peace, to be present. Tasiyah, when you were speaking earlier, what I got was presence. Present. You are present here and now to what's going on in your body, in your mind, in your soul, in your heart. And the majority of people that have been through what you've been through, until they come to the point where they can be present, there is no peace. If you're not present, if you're always, and there's nothing wrong, by the way, with coping and dealing with it by being the people pleaser and the worker and the healer and a lot of people go and heal other people before they even discover that they themselves have to heal. And at a certain level, that's fantastic, but we have to come back and deal with our own stuff at some point. And I say that still dealing with my own stuff. So thank you for who you are, both of you. And you, Cari.
I am so happy we're doing this episode. It's like I am so proud of the amount of work it takes to feel the feelings down to the core of it. But man, does it fucking hurt. Part of me had this whole I think when my father first got out of prison, it was like I wanted to have so much revenge where I was like, well, I want to be I want to start the conversation. I want to invite the conversation for it to be all on the table. And then there were some things that happened with my sister that I I was so angry at him for. And then there's some situations with my brother that's happened where I'm well, I understand why this is even happening. And we go to a personal development course every 6 to 8 weeks. I don't even remember how many weeks in between anymore now. 8. Okay, well, 8. And I always found working with older men so difficult. And I knew it was because the dynamic between my stepdad and I was he was 20 years older than me. Yeah, exactly 20 years older than me. 18. Or 18. So for me, it felt like I was growing up with his teenager because when I met him, I was 6. So I was always in this weird dynamic of I put men up a little bit high, above me, and it's awkward for me to be myself because I'm expecting rejection, and I'm also expecting them to over intellectualize every single conversation I'm in. So then I try to be the super intelligent hierarchy person in the conversation. So I realized how much I'm sabotaging myself. And even, oh my God, there was this guy at work that kept pissing me off. And it wasn't anything he was doing specifically. It was just, I was annoyed at the type of behaviors he was doing. And when I went to the course this last weekend before, weekend, whichever weekend it was, I had to work with somebody who was in the same age range of like the 20-year gap. And I was like, the whole weekend, I was so triggered. I was like, this guy's an idiot. This guy's da 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 da. And like, I was really trashing this person. And I felt so guilty by like the second night because I was like, what am I doing? Like, I am literally putting all of my trauma and all of my resentment on this person who is equally at taking this course of his own problems. And I like, the second day is processing anger. When it came to the third day, it's forgiveness. And I was able to sit with him and we were just both present with each other. And it was like a moment where I was able to see him for the person he was and not the person of like, oh, this is my dad. This is an example of my dad. And when I went back to work and I saw the same man who had just annoyed the hell out of me, I was able to just sit there and I genuinely smiled at him. I genuinely helped him out at work. My touch and like my personality became so much softer where I wasn't holding so much anger and so much resentment. And even at work, like it was so much easier for me to transition with the lens of like, okay, I actually do have compassion. And I struggled with like having the resentment issue pop up too, where like I wanted to have resentment and I felt like I was right to have resentment, but it was only costing me the pain of it. Like I went through so much turmoil I put myself through so much turmoil for like 4 or 5 months where like now I finally quit the job, but it took 4 or 5 months of me saying I'm done with that, like constantly and not being done with it, where parts of me is still not done with it. But like now that I have that awareness, I'm like, oh wow, I actually didn't realize that's what I was doing for so long. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting, those charged emotions that we have. From a certain perspective, everybody that we come in contact with is a mirror, right?
Mm.
And I hear you talking about hierarchy, and it's like it occurs to me like as humans, the more consciously aware and awake we become, the less we hierarchize our world. Like, I look at Carrie and I see someone who is no better and no worse than me. To quote Dickens from the what was it? Fellow travelers to the grave. It's like that's who we are. Uh, you're doing great. Good for you. And here's funny. This is funny because I noticed myself doing the same thing you were doing, Tasiyah. Is we went to this. My wife and I went to this party with some friends of ours, and they're the same age as us, and they have done very well for themselves. And I'm like, that's great. Good for them. Is what I wanted to feel. But part of me is like, they're better than I am because they're more wealthy than me, and it's not fair. And
I see
and,
you.
and that that feeling feels like, well, I should listen to what they say because I'm putting them up here, and it's like, well, let's bring everybody to right about here, and it's difficult to pull the people we hold up high down, and it's difficult to pull the people that we despise up.
Oh, yeah.
You
That
know,
takes a lot of forgiveness.
yeah, yeah. So I hear you.
I think you said something so pertinent is that we choose to hold on to that anger, that bitterness. There's times where Dave would say to me months into working on, just after these memories started coming up for me, and he's like, are you ready to forgive your dad? I'm like, no, I want to be mad at him. I want to hate him.
Yeah.
I want to hold on to that, and I want to feel that above everything else. Even though I had been through a year of working on other trauma and loved that feeling of letting go and being free. And then it was like, no, I want to hold on to this. I have a right to be angry and I have a right to be bitter. And I'm going to feel that until it's felt. And it took a long time for me to realize that because for a long time, I didn't feel like I could. But it is the same thing. It's a feeling. It's a feeling that you get to feel, and then you get to decide if you're going to hold on to it or not. And even once you decide to let that go, that's not infinite. It's not finite. I mean, that still comes back to me occasionally.
Yeah.
And then in that moment, I get to choose, do I want to stay feeling this, or do I want to practice forgiveness of this person, of myself, of this situation, and look at everything I've learned from it and who I've become because of it.
You're so right, Carrie. I when it was when everything first happened, I knew that the very first thing I was like, we all have to go to therapy. And once I'm sorry, one second. Hi, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, it's okay. Huh?
It's okay.
Okay. We're gonna go back to our show now. Bye, sweetie. Yeah, I knew that I had to go to therapy, and I knew that I needed to make sure that my children knew that I was gonna fight for them and I was in their corner. Because I had also been sexually abused in different ways since I was like 3 all the way up until I was 18. So it was like I know that there's no way I was surprised that it even happened until I learned that by the time our children are 7, if we are not healed, we've already passed the baton and or on the healing journey. So it was like, everything was just coming together. So I went to therapy and my therapist was like, you got to forgive him. And I was like, what? Like I did not want to hear that. Don't talk to me about it. Like this was nonsense. I couldn't. I just didn't want to. Now when I look back on it, because after about 6 months of being with her as a therapist, I was able to do forgiveness. And it was so pure. It was like I was able to see the human and have compassion for them, without meaning that I was dishonoring my daughter or myself. But for that few months, I didn't want to hear it at all. And I feel like there's a part of us that has to feel that so that it could fuel. And Dave, you said something about, we chose to come here. And I truly believe that. I believe that this is such a sacred journey that we have to understand suffering and despair and sorrow, because then when we can truly value presence and abundance and joy, we wouldn't know how to receive that, truly receive it, if we didn't know what it felt like to sink into despair. But at the time, I did not want to hear anything about forgiveness. I didn't want to forget. Even now, there's a part of me that there's an ex, someone that I dated after, and I felt so betrayed by them. And it was like, well, how could the victim in me is like, how could you betray me after being there and seeing the betrayal that I endured in the first place, and not only betrayed me again twice, it was like, and there's parts of me that's like, I have to remember, and that even though I've done the forgiveness, that when the memories come up and the softness return and there's those moments that I really truly miss, look at the lessons that I learned and let go of it a little bit more. And let go of it a little more. But there's that part of me that still wants to, like, I want to be right. I want to live. And that analogy of holding the coal in your hand and hurting yourself. And then when my fist starts getting like this, I'm like, no, I understand. I have to go back inwards. I get to go back inwards and return that love to me and not see it as the betrayal. And while acknowledging that it was as well, but not choosing not to hold on to it. But it is for anybody who's going through it, to hear the words you have to forgive, it almost makes me want to reach across the other person and strangle them, because Dave, get out of here. Talking about telling Carrie she's ready to forgive yet. you know. But on the other side of it, there's so much freeness, there's so much peace. I don't have the same level of pain that I had 6 years ago. It's so much softer now, and I get to give it to Tasiyah. She gets to reap the benefit of that, because then along with that forgiveness came looking at how I was parenting from guilt and shame, and looking at how that was affecting our relationship, and how much better of a mom that I can be. On the other side of that now, it's like I understand how repair feels wonderful, to be able to sit with someone and genuinely acknowledge that my behavior affected you in so many ways that I can never even make up for that anymore. But I'm here and I want to do it differently, and I'm present with you and I'm working on myself. And that is my commitment, that you are important to me and I'm going to do it differently. It's incredible. I've experienced it within myself. I've experienced it with other people. So it's like when there's opportunities for repair, and the people that once held us to a certain standard of growth isn't being able to look at that and give that. It's like there's a fine line of getting back into that vengeance space. And, like, how can you not see? How can you not know? And then I think back to myself, I was once that person and I've forgiven that version of me. So it's like almost a battle sometimes. It feels like I'm yes and no, but I can't judge because I did that too. And I know what that feels like. And I know you're sinking, but how could you? It's like it can be such a turmoil. And to be able to like do that alone often, or doing it with people and their advice is, oh, you got to get over it. Or there's no like,
Super help. Thank
yeah,
you very
thanks.
much.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, well, you gotta let go. And then they'll, oh, well, it wasn't that bad. Mine's worse. No.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to me
I,
and taking it out over. Yeah.
valuing me as
Yeah.
a person. I don't want to talk to you anymore now. But then, of course, my guilt goes, well, how could I have shown up different for that person? No, think about yourself.
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah.
what are your guys' thoughts about that?
My thoughts are put your oxygen mask on first. The healing. So the healing that I had to go through to be able to be someone who could help Carrie or help other people who've dealt with things like this is remarkable. I remember. So I don't know if this is something that you guys ever dealt with, but when I was in school, I got bullied a lot, and
Yeah.
I was a bully.
you
I
were the
was the
bully.
bullied.
Well,
I relate to you.
yeah. So for years afterwards, I'd be just by myself, and all of a sudden, this scene would come to mind where this person did this thing or hit me in the shoulder really hard as we were walking back, and it was like, because in high school I was 6'1" and weighed 120 pounds, and now I'm twice that weight now, and I people don't mess with me. It's kind of fun. I like that. But I'd have these visions of thoughts of what if only, I was and see them, they would disrespect me and I'd beat them or I'd kill them or come up with these fantastic ways to distribute wrath and vengeance upon their descendants. It's like, what the heck? And there was this one time I was driving in the middle, driving home from, on a 5.5 hour trip. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was by myself, and this thought came to me of this situation, and I got so mad. There were no other cars on the freeway, coming or going. It was the middle of nowhere, and I was by myself having a rage experience, like road raging at the universe. And and
I
then someone in
relate.
my mind said, "Hey, it's been 25 years. It might be time to let this go. What do you think?"
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize I was still doing that. So,
Mm.
yeah, there's this thing where it feels like until we feel things all the way through, there's still stuff to be felt, right? When we felt it all the way through, the nature of feelings is that they dissipate.
Yeah.
Now, and we feel, at least I feel like if I should be able to feel it once and be done, darn it. And sometimes that happens. And sometimes it's, I feel it and I didn't quite get to the depth, or there's another layer and I got to go feel that and then come back and then I feel that and finally I'm free. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 15 years of working on things until until you're
Yeah.
free.
Mm.
When Carrie would say, "I don't want to forget about," you're like, okay, beautiful. You are the creator of your experience. You are totally enabled and empowered to not forgive until you're ready. And that may never come. It's totally okay for you to never forgive. We're free to choose that. So anyway, uh, that's what I'm resonating with you guys right here and right now is that. And by the way, again, huge acknowledgement for owning that you were the bully, because even bullies get okay, and you were doing the very best you could given the circumstances that you found yourself in and the resources you could see.
I just also realized you were bullied at home while you were being a bully to other people at that age.
I mean,
Because you were like, yeah, but you were also kind of mean. No, not gonna lie. But yeah.
I forgive her.
Yeah.
I forgive myself and I set myself free unless I choose to use myself to imprison myself again. I'm moving on. I think you're so right. I'm sorry, Dave. I don't know if you were still speaking. I didn't want
I'm
to.
done. Thank you. Yeah.
It's it's beautiful what you said about we have to feel it all the way out because there's so many different layers to it. At first, I've abandoned myself. I mean, at first, it's like you did something to me. I need to acknowledge that experience, right? But then also the layer of that, I'm using you. That means I'm not taking ownership of it. I'm blaming someone else. I'm on the victim triangle. Well, then the another layer of that is that I have an unmet need, and I was speaking my unmet need, and it caused conflict. And then the other layer is that I had my father wound. I believed that my dad did not want me, so energetically I tried to get love by people pleasing, self abandonment, never leaving, never walking away from something. I played small because that's culturally what women in my culture do. I saw my mom as a very powerful woman, but she didn't stand in her power. Again, at the time, I had some resentment and stuff, but now I know what my mom went through. I'm able to look at her with softer lens. But
Mhm.
ultimately, I chose to believe that I wasn't worthy, and I sabotaged every connection and made every connection mean that reinforced that belief that I wasn't worthy. And that stood in the way of my very core human being need of being in relationship, being in connection, being in expansion, having community. So, to be able to look at it from that lens does help a lot to get through the moments. And being able, like, that feeling when you're like, oh, that's that healing moment, it happens. It doesn't only click on the mind and in the mind, it clicks in the heart. Like there's an actual connection to, I needed to experience that. Because
Yeah.
if I didn't, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. I wouldn't have been able to come up with the relationship repair language that offers us opportunities to be able to meet each other's emotional needs and repairing with our own self, repairing with the people that we love and care about, and offer that to other people who don't even know that they're not in healthy relationships, or those who are looking to be in healthy relationships. So it's like, and being able to say that I have actually broken the cycle in my family. My and while Tasiyah is on this call right now, she's gonna be 25 soon. It's like, I didn't get my awakening until I was in my 40s. Life
Mhm.
crashed at 38, and then it kept going bad, and then I think at like 42, I was like, oh, I'm consciousness, like it didn't, so to be able to like see her go through it at such a young age and empowering her brother and sister, especially like Dave, like you mentioned, things happened when you try to protect one from it and it still happens. Like, um, you know, I've I've come to the realization that whatever happens, I'm not gonna be able to stop it, but I'm going to be present enough to be there with them while they go through it and know that they have support, their mom's in their corner, and they're not alone. And that's the best thing that I can do. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't practice forgiveness, if I didn't. I always think, whatever the feeling, the charge emotion is, what does it need? So whenever it's coming from resentment needs forgiveness. Anger needs acknowledgement. There's so many lessons in this. And I used to sabotage with anger. I would get mad, cuss somebody out. I don't want nothing to do with you. Boom, 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 we're done. But now it's like my anger is sense of injustice has happened. It fuels me to speak up more, to live more in alignment. It's taught me that I can do it in a way where I don't need to prove that I'm right, but I can do it in a way where there's connection. And I can offer that to my family members too. And we can be more in connection. And that's just part of like serving, receiving, giving, being a part of the journey, right there with someone. I'm not above, I'm not below. We are here meeting presently. I have touched the very tender parts of myself. So when you share, I can access that feeling without it robbing me of myself of identity, and be able to connect with you in your heart. And that feels so much better. And I'm thankful for it. But in those moments too, when it's happening, sometimes I'm not thankful for it.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah.
the
And saying,
balance.
aren't you so grateful that you went through hell so you could wake up and come to this state? It's like,
Yes.
Yeah, and there are moments where if you tell me that, I'm gonna be ticked, It's like,
Yes.
"Thank."
Yes. I love that you acknowledge that too, because a lot of times when it comes to personal development, and especially like we do a lot of Adler, so it's like
Mhm,
inferiority, superiority. So it's like a lot of self accountability. And I find that self accountability can end up punishing me more because I'm taking so much responsibility for something that I'm not also acknowledging that part of me that that wasn't treated in a way that I deserve,
mhm,
or um just not owning a lot of things that weren't mine.
yeah. Oh,
And
so great.
yeah, yeah.
Adler is, in my opinion, I mean, the he's the I love Jung. I'm not too hot on Freud, but Adler is where the rubber meets the road, in my opinion. One of the things I love about that is that with Adler, you are able to divorce what happened from what I'm doing and who I am being now. Like,
Yeah.
somewhere in my mind, there's a part of me that thinks that until Carrie is completely healed, totally, like she's forgiven her father, she sings his praises for all the good that he did do in his life because he did some good, and can't see any of the evil stuff that he did because he did some evil stuff, just like all of us. He granted went way further than a lot of evil people,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever. Until that time, she can never fully, be herself. Well, that's not true. And the thing with Adler is that no, no, yes, the past happened, and you get to choose who you're going to be in the here and now. And Carrie
Mm-hmm.
has done that. Like
Yes.
when Carrie spoke at a conference that I attended, I also got to speak there last year. No, it was this year, January of
Was
this
this
year.
year? Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to compare in my own mind the Carrie that was there and then with the Carrie that I had first spoken with, who was like, I'm only here because my friend said I had to be here, and I'm not going to tell you anything. And exactly. It's a night and day difference. By that time, a year ago, almost a year ago, she had already served hundreds of people, and she didn't even and she had got active in helping a lot of people already, but I don't think I still don't think she quite gets the impact, Carrie, that you have had. I don't think you get the impact that you've had on the world. And by the world, I mean the individuals in it who have dealt with things similar to what you've dealt with. And you're not done yet. And Carrie, I don't know. Have you forgiven your dad already? I don't know. And you don't have to answer that question because it doesn't matter.
Or you
Because
can.
are you grateful that you were abused as a child? What the hell kind of question is that? Well, so my version of this, I'm grateful that I went through deep, deep depression and addiction because it woke me up and it helped me to get on a trajectory. And then this guy that I was working with at the time is like, Dave, you've got this addiction and we're not going to deal with it right here and right now. But here's one piece of advice: find how to be grateful for your addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be your first step toward freedom. I was like, grateful for my addiction, this thing that makes me a liar and a terrible person and unworthy of love of myself or respect or
Mm-hmm.
anything. And, it's the thing I found was that my addiction allowed me to, and the reason I'm grateful for my addiction is that it allowed me to relate to people who had mental health issues or had been abused or done other things, had things done to them or had done things. Like it's both the victim and the perpetrator.
Mm-hmm.
Have compassion for both. I mean, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And it's not compassion without, it was appropriate that your ex went to prison. It's appropriate that he, having paid his debt to society, quote unquote, that he's out of prison and now gets to try again and see if he can, toe the line. And that's irrespective of, the experience that Tasiyah is having with forgiveness, pain, the memory of it all, and who she's being in the here and now. So it's an and world that we live in,
Yeah.
right? Well, were you the victim of this? Yes. And are you the owner of it? Yes. Wait, what? No,
Yeah.
yes. That is true. Both of those things can be true at the same time, just depending on which perspective I choose to take, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Tessie. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you'd be willing to share with what's been said so far.
I honestly am so happy because, like, it's hard for me to find people who have done the deep healing work. And I don't mean that against any of my friends who are listening. It's just like to be able to talk to somebody to this deep of a level, to know that they've also experienced understanding depression to the depths of it and overcoming it. And then, of course, addiction. And then just like understanding that we can take ownership of what's happened in our life and we can move forward with it. It's so difficult for me to convince people my age that you have a shot, that you can do this, because I was also that age of not believing it myself too. So it's like a double-edged sword where I'm sitting in so much gratefulness that like I get to be the person that helps other people finally hear themselves. And then I also get to do this on a podcast where I get to talk to people who are actively doing it and who are actively helping other people literally talk about their shames, talk about what hurts the most, what they need to do. Like I think that it's a beautiful and amazing thing, and it's refreshing because I've sat in so much sadness for the last few weeks. I want to say the last few months, but I think I'm being a little over dramatic with my sadness right now. But it's nice because I thought I would have been crying this whole episode, but I've been happy. And the tears are like, I think part of it is the grief that's coming out of it, but it feels more like relief tears. It doesn't feel like I'm holding on to it. Like I felt so much pressure in my traps like these last 2-3 weeks. And now it doesn't feel as like tense, where I've been noticing like my body position and becoming more relaxed rather than so rigid and tight and like compacted to myself. So it's just like we need to have more conversations like this. People need to hear it. And sometimes it sucks. I have to be vulnerable about it, but the sucky part is my 17-year-old self holding shame about it. And she has to have a voice too. So I have to be able to let her have her voice, and then also the adult me and then the child me also, like, we have to agree on things.
You get to.
We get to. Yes, not
You
have
get,
to, we get to.
you get to. Yeah. Can I put a little different perspective on this conversation? Something that is just the entire time I've been listening keeps coming to me. And I'm going to refer back again to Dave and I's friend Eric, the one that introduced the two of us to each other. He and I had a conversation one time, and this is a man that I've known for 27 years now. You know, we've been through a lot together in terms of being in each other's lives when major changes were happening. And he and I had a conversation maybe a year and a half ago. And he was asking me some things about, are you grateful? Can you be grateful? Is it possible? And I was just like, no, I can't be grateful that all of this happened to me, that I was the victim of this. And he said, can I share 3 thoughts with you? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And he shared a couple of different things, but the one that is very present right now was he said, I want you to step outside of your life and everything that's happened to you. And I want you to tell me, would you be okay if this happened to your nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews? And I said, absolutely not. And he said, maybe that's part of the reason why you went through it, was so that they didn't have to. Because I used to fight Dave a lot when Dave was like, we chose this. And I'm like hell I did. Did not choose this. There
She
is
used
no way in
stronger
it.
language, by the way, but
Well, yeah.
continue.
But he said, what if this was an option before we came to this earth of they could go through it or you could take that on for them? And I think a lot of times, whatever truth there is to that, whatever degree of truth there is, I think a lot of times that's why those of us who have suffered such great trauma become those people who never want anybody else to feel the way that we felt. And we don't know that we can handle it when somebody else, your brother, your sister, may not have been able to. And I want to tie this in with something that you said, Laziena, when you said, this is who I can be now. And I won't be able to quote you, but you said something of, this is all I can do now, or this is what I can do now. What you are doing is the most important thing for a survivor. Right? She is so blessed to have a mother who hears and sees her. Having that community, whether it's our family or not, is trivial. I've told you guys before, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for Dave and if it wasn't for Eric. connecting us and making me talk to him, because having somebody to hear you, whether they understand what you're going through or not, it makes all the difference. So you don't need to have any guilt about this is it. Because right now it's everything. It's everything for her. I promise. And I am so proud of both of you. You don't even know.
Thank you. I feel so. Thank you. I'm receiving. I receive. How dare you guys come on this podcast and make us cry and give us acknowledgement and unconditional love and acceptance.
But wait, there's more. Tasiyah, I just want to take a moment and acknowledge you for being someone who has gone through tremendous difficulty that nobody will ever know. Nobody else can really understand because you're the only one that's gone through it. I will never understand what you've gone through, and I have deep compassion for you. I will never understand what Cari went through, and I have deep compassion for her. You'll never understand what I went through because you couldn't see through my eyes and from my past and my thoughts. That's okay. But the difference you're choosing to make now, to have this Breaking the Cycles podcast, to share and speak and feel the emotions and let the tears flow, allows the possibility of other people that I mean, you cannot see and I cannot see the difference that your life has made and will yet make on this planet. And when I say planet, I mean on the individuals that occupy this planet. You don't know. But I can tell you that just being here, I know that the moment you stepped into this call and were like present, it's like, oh shit, this is a big deal. This is somebody who is not throwing little pebbles into a pond and hoping that it makes the difference. She's taking freaking boulders and is going, this splash, oh, there's a tsunami over here of healing. Oh my goodness, a deep flood of peace and kindness over here. Oh, well, who threw that? Who started that landslide? You are the earthquake. You are the tectonic shift, Tasiyah, that makes the difference. And you're doing it here and now. And that's all. This is the only place we can do anything like that. So thank you for being that. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for choosing this.
I don't know how to come back to you.
I received that. Thank you so much. I like doing something, but also like, no, it's not all sniffly. But thank
You're
you.
okay.
Thank you. I needed to hear that. Thank you. I have no words right now.
Cari, he's good.
Now I know what he did to get you to talk.
He was like, oh, I see you.
Yeah. Cari, can I share a secret that we have?
Depends on which one. Yeah, you can.
We didn't know this at the time that we started. We didn't know it for like, gosh, what was it, 2-3 years? I don't know. It was a while.
It was at least a year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. I was traveling and I stopped at the grave site of my great grandfather who had been killed by Native Americans back in the 1850s in a raid. And at that time, Cari's like, Dave, what are you doing at my great? Was it just 2 greats for you? I forget.
4. It's 4.
Or 4 greats. What are you doing at my great grandfather's grave? And I'm sorry, it's 5 for me and 4 for her. And I was like, wait, what? It turns out that we are very distant cousins.
Oh, wow.
But come from a long family line of similar background, faith, location. It was really interesting to see, and I guess what's the point of this? The point is that every breath you take, every move you make is a
You be
miracle
watching? Oh,
in the life of someone else. And yes, someone's watching you. I'm not scared. You notice someone watching you, it's okay. No,
sorry.
I got to
The
see
song.
it. It was fantastic. I loved it. There's 25
I was thinking that too, and I'm like, where is he going with that?
Yeah,
I was like, he's turning into Sting all of a sudden.
oh, can't you see?
I'm not to sing. Okay.
Yeah, darn it. I do love to sing. It's true. It's like, so I don't know if you guys like the Lord of the Rings movies or not, but I love them. And at one point, Gandalf is talking to Frodo, and Frodo's like freaking out about how bad everything's going. And he's like, well, from a certain perspective, Gollum was meant to find the ring, and you were meant to carry it as well. And that's a comforting thought to know that the entire universe is arranged for these people to meet and for these things to occur so that you could be the greatness that we are here to be, right? And we don't, perfection is not required to do that, Laziena, I heard you talk about not feeling worthy. Boy, I feel that, and even now, it's like Cari, it was so strange. After Cari and I talked and we got to the deep stuff, it was like Spirit said, oh, congratulations, you've unlocked a new power. Here's 10 more people that need your help in this. And I was like, I don't feel qualified or worthy to take on all this stuff. And Spirit's like, it's just for a little while. We're not going to send you anybody that you can't help. I'm like, okay, great. But the bigger thing was, and also, by the way, Dave, you don't have to be perfect in order to help someone, and I'm not, sometimes I'm a jerk to, like we recently had a thing where our car got fixed and it didn't fix the problem. And I got upset at the mechanic because it was expensive.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I feel so guilty for losing my cool with him. And I didn't even lose my cool. I just was very upset. And it's like, oh, there's that thing in the back of my mind. It's like, you have to clean this up with him or else you can't do any more work. Sorry, you can't do any more. That's ridiculous. What are we talking about? I can be here with people and still have some things unresolved. I don't have to have 100% integrity in every portion of my life because that's not obtainable.
Yes.
So far as I can tell. So anyway, thank you for making the difference while allowing yourself the grace of, hey, I'm still a human. And hey, I'm still dealing with some things.
Thank you. I like that. Thank you, Cari and Dave. You guys, I told Tasiyah before this even started. As soon as I got home today, I was like, we have Dave and Cari today. So be prepared to feel present, and I felt like even when we talked on Optimize on Saturday, I could tell that it would be good for Tasiyah, not for all of us, but I felt like what was, how the things are aligning, right? I was like, oh, this is coming into alignment because I had a feeling this conversation would be very impactful with where we were going through this week, where she was. So I appreciate that you guys have met yourself so deeply, that you have so much capacity to love, that you can hold space for all four of us here, right? And then some. And that's one of the beautiful, you said about what is the lesson, right? Somebody asked you, like, can you be grateful for it? Someone kind of gave me that similar thing too. What is the lesson and the gratitude out of the situation? And that's such a profound question because it's allowed me to open up and realize, like, love was that deep of love. That's how deep my love is, that it's endless and it's not attached to anything else. It just is. So I appreciate you guys so much. This has been an incredible conversation.
Great. This is a great conversation, especially at the end of the night too.
Yeah. You're going to sleep good.
I'm going to sleep good.
Thanks for being on with that.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love you both.
We love you too.
And you too, Dave.
I know you love me, Cari. And I know you love me. I love you.
If you listen to both podcasts, your name is mentioned more. I was like, bring Dave on. We want to meet him. It is great to meet you.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. This was a very, very heartwarming and very good episode. It's far more than an episode for me. It's just, Dave, you spoke directly to my heart. And obviously, like, I know you saw it, but still, I am grateful that I met you tonight. I feel like the universe has been aligning me to feel my feelings out. And it's a reminder that I can also choose to take care of me, and it's okay. I don't have to do it for everybody all the time.
Except me.
Oh, yeah. No kidding.
We do love to put a little humor.
That's right.
Any other closing marks?
This is the reason why I started this podcast, I wanted to find, I know what it was like to suffer. And I was like, who's on the other side of it? Where are the people? Who's there for the strong? And also, I felt like a lot of people were out of reach, that that was on the other side of the journey. People that I, in my limited perspective at that time, saw as people who's been through something. They were out of reach, and I was like, I want to be able to have a place where people can understand that they're not alone, and no one's gonna shove solutions down their throat and try to get them just be there, be able to speak about this stuff. It happens, like you said, Dave, so often. There's I think I know the statistic is 1 in every 6 men in the military or whatever. I know so many men who have been sexually abused and they're not able to talk about it. There's so shame and stigma around it. And I love that the world is now, I feel like the world is going in a direction of more openness, but there's still, when shame sets in, it can really pull us down. And there, like you said, we can have good days. I can still be a coach. I could still be somebody who can teach you about relationships and have a bad day. That's what it is to be human. And all I want to do is to be human on the journey, and creating that safety to say, okay, I'm going to share my story. And if you see yourself in it, you're welcome to join me. And even if you don't, I'm still going to continue so that it could be there for you whenever you need it, and bring everybody else who wants to do that. I feel like today I feel accomplished. It's not that I'm not proud of myself. I'm very proud of myself, and I acknowledge that a lot more now. But like this conversation that we've had, it's so meaningful because I hear her cry. I know when she's going through her stuff, and it's not for me to fix and move for her. She's got to experience it. So it's so important to feel witnessed and to witness yourself too. So it's I thank you guys for being great witnesses and just being in togetherness with us. I felt really connecting, and now my heart has more love in it than it did earlier.
Thank you.
So thank
Me too.
you guys.
I feel the love too. It's radiating off me. I love it.
My closing remark is that it's never too late to heal. And you deserve it. We all deserve it. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Breaking the Cycles. We will see you on the next one.
And we will add your guys' information.
Yeah.
Because,
oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot about
well,
that.
Dave is on, we have it on Optimize, and we have Carrie's as well.
Oh, yeah, true. Okay.
Yes.
It'll be in the description.
Yes.
Bye, guys.